Let me ask you a crazy question. What would happen if tomorrow you disappeared for 6 months? No phone calls, no emails, no meetings, no texts, nothing. Would your business keep running or would it collapse in 3 days? Most people call themselves business owners, but if your business can't survive without you, you don't own a business. You own a job. And that's exactly what Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has been shouting for decades. He says, if you have to be there for your business to work, you're not a business owner, you're self-employed. And that line alone changes everything. When I was in my early 20s, I met a man who ran a printing shop. He worked 7 days a week from morning till midnight. Every single order, every client, every delivery passed through his hands. He was proud. He said, I'm the boss, I run my own company. But when he got sick for just 1 week, everything stopped. Orders piled up, clients complained, and when he came back, he had to start all over again. That's not a business, that's a trap disguised as success. Because true business owners design systems that make money whether they're there or not. Robert Kiyosaki calls it moving from the left side of the cash flow quadrant to the right side. On the left side, you have employees and self-employed people, those who work for money. On the right side, you have business owners and investors, those who make money work for them. So how do you move from one side to the other? How do you build a business that runs without you? The first truth is simple: build systems, not stress. Think about McDonald's. The founder, Ray Kroc, didn't make the best burger in the world, but he built the best system for making and selling burgers. That's why there are over 30,000 McDonald's restaurants across the world, and he doesn't have to flip a single patty. A system is what makes a business repeatable, predictable, and scalable. Most people never build systems because they're too busy doing everything themselves. Robert Kiyosaki often says, work on your business, not in your business. That means your job is to create a structure so others can operate without your daily control. If you're a graphic designer, instead of being the one designing every logo, train others to follow your process. If you're a baker, write down your recipes, your customer service steps, your delivery routines. That's how McDonald's can open in New York or Tokyo and the fries still taste the same. That's not luck, that's a system. The second truth, hire people smarter than you. In his early days, Kiyosaki admitted that he didn't like school, but he learned quickly that if he wanted to grow, he needed to surround himself with people who were good at what he was. He said, the richest people in the world build networks, everyone else looks for work. There's a story about a friend of his who built a construction business. At first, he was doing everything, managing workers, buying materials, handling clients. But the moment he hired a project manager, someone who understood logistics better than he did, his profits doubled within a year. That's because leadership isn't about doing everything. It's about building a team that can keep moving even when you step away. If you ever find yourself saying, no one can do it better than me, you're already stuck. That's ego talking. The goal isn't to be the smartest person in the room. The goal is to be surrounded by smart people who share your vision. The third truth, stop chasing money, start building value. When Kiyosaki built his first business, selling nylon wallets back in the 1970s, it exploded at first, then crashed. He made millions and lost it all because he built a business based on a trend, not a foundation. He learned the hard way that businesses that depend on constant hustle collapse when the owner stops hustling. What lasts is value. Think of companies like Apple. Steve Jobs didn't just sell phones, he built a culture, an ecosystem that keeps people buying, upgrading, and staying loyal. If you want your business to run without you, ask, what value does it bring to people even when I'm not there? Can it function, sell, and grow without my direct effort? A photographer who trains assistants, creates preset packs, and builds an online course. That person just moved from being self-employed to being a business owner. Because now, money can flow in even while they're asleep. The next truth, understand cash flow like your life depends on it. Kiyosaki's biggest philosophy is simple. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep and how hard it works for you. You can make $10,000 a month and still be broke if every cent depends on your presence. But when your money starts producing money, that's when you're free. Imagine this. You own a small restaurant that makes $5,000 a month in profit. Instead of spending it all, you reinvest $2,000 into hiring and automation, maybe an order app or a delivery system. Suddenly, you don't need to take every order manually. You buy back time. Then you use that time to build a second branch or invest in another business. That's how freedom grows little by little. Kiyosaki calls it the power of leverage. Leverage people, systems, and money, but never your life. Another lesson that hits deep is to create something that can outlive you. Robert Kiyosaki learned this from his rich dad, a man who owned multiple businesses and investments. He said, "If you die today and your income dies with you, you never built a business, you built a paycheck." That's a harsh truth, but look around, it's everywhere. People open small shops, work 20 years straight, and the day they stop, everything stops. Their children can't continue because the business was never built to run without the founder. A real business should outlive its creator. Look at Walt Disney. He passed away in 1966, yet his company continues to grow, generate billions, and inspire generations. Why? Because he didn't build for himself, he built for legacy. Ask yourself, could someone else run your business tomorrow? If the answer is no, it's time to start thinking long-term. Let go of control and trust the process. This might be the hardest part. Most entrepreneurs are control freaks. They want to approve every design, every product, every message. But micromanagement kills growth. I knew a woman who started a clothing brand from her bedroom. She did everything herself: cutting, sewing, marketing, packing. After 5 years, she was exhausted. She tried hiring people, but kept firing them because they don't do it like me. Her brand stayed small, not because the product wasn't good, but because she couldn't let go. When she finally decided to build trust, document her processes, and let her team take over, she opened 2 new stores in 1 year. That's the power of release. Kiyosaki says, the more you cling to control, the less control you actually have. You can't grow big if you don't grow out of the need to control everything. Another truth, think like an investor, not a worker. When you start a business, you think like a worker, you do everything. But when you build a business that runs without you, you start thinking like an investor. How can this asset generate more income with less of my time? That's how Kiyosaki built his wealth. He used income from his businesses to buy real estate, stocks, and other cash-flowing assets. The idea isn't just to create a business that runs without you, it's to use that freedom to multiply your opportunities. So when your first business starts operating smoothly, don't waste that freedom doing nothing. Use it to build more assets. Freedom isn't about doing less, it's about having the choice to do more of what matters. Now here's a painful truth many don't want to hear: fail fast, learn faster. Robert Kiyosaki went bankrupt more than once. His nylon wallet company collapsed. His next business barely survived. But he says those failures taught him more than any success ever could. In real life, your first attempt to build a self-running business might fail. Your first manager might disappoint you. Your first system might break. But that's part of the process. You learn, adjust, and improve. Kiyosaki once said, "Losers quit when they fail. Winners fail until they succeed." That's how businesses that stand the test of time are built, through lessons, not luck. Building a business that runs without you isn't about disappearing and doing nothing. It's about building something so strong, so organized, and so valuable that it can stand without you. It's about shifting from being the engine to being the architect, the one who designs how the machine runs. And let's be honest, it's not easy. You'll sacrifice time, energy, and comfort. You'll face fear, especially the fear of losing control. But every time you delegate, automate, or invest, you're building freedom. One day you'll wake up and realize your business doesn't just survive without you, it thrives. You'll finally have the time to focus on what truly matters: your family, your health, your purpose, your next big idea. That's when you stop being self-employed and start becoming free. That's when money starts working for you, not the other way around. That's when you become what Robert Kiyosaki calls a real business owner. So the next time you catch yourself working 15 hours a day thinking you're building a business, stop. Ask yourself, if I disappear for 6 months, will my business still make money? If not, it's time to change the game. Build systems, build leaders, build value, build cash flow, build legacy. Because real freedom isn't found in owning a business, it's found in owning a business that doesn't need you. And when you reach that point, congratulations, you've finally escaped the rat race.